Welcome back to The Right Life 101. This is the second segment of writing a horror novel. As I mentioned in the first segment, a horror novel differs from a thriller because it relies on your emotional state to help move the story along. In this video, I'll explain how you keep your reader on the edge of their seat, waiting and anticipating what may or may not happen next. In a thriller, the audience needs to see something happening most of the time. If it's not an axe-wielding psychopath, it might be a vengeful shark, or even a gang of drug dealers who want their drugs back. But in a horror, the threat or the fear of it isn't in your face. It's more suggestive. And all you, the writer, need do is make the suggestion that something dangerous is lurking just out of sight. And that sets off a series of events in your reader's psyche that causes them to realize a significant level of terror. That's why just mentioning that you're stepping into a haunted house stirs an emotional response in us.
When the sign says haunted house, you turn and go home.
If we go back to our example from the first segment of the girl left to house sit an old house, but warned about going into the room at the end of the hall, that description alone conjures up enough images in your reader's mind to activate their fear. Like I said before, nothing has happened yet, but it doesn't need to. Just the possibility that there might be is enough. And herein lies the rub. The girl house sitting is told to stay out of a room, which could mean anything. But the fact that this is set up as a horror brings about the anticipation of something dangerous. She is a single girl. She is in an old house, and she has been told not to go into the room at the end of the hall. If this was set up as a romance, maybe there might be a couple in there doing something that the girl shouldn't see. Sex. Or if it was set up as a humorous story, then maybe she is being pranked and her friends are waiting on the other side of that door to jump out and surprise her.
I don't care. For all I know, there's an axe-wielding psychopath
Just waiting for anyone stupid enough to open that door
so he could have a good laugh. But being set up as a horror, we can generally surmise that whatever is behind that door is something that the girl will most likely need to fight to keep from killing her. Now, since the key to horror is what the reader is convinced might happen, once the secret has been revealed, there's nothing left to intrigue and scare your reader. So, to keep your reader engaged and craving more, you need to prolong that tension as long as possible, and you do that by giving them a little more, a little bit at a time. Keep in mind that a horror story relies on that gradual progression to give the reader time to absorb and truly grasp the severity of what is going on. With the girl in the old house, maybe she does nothing about the room because she has forgotten all about it.
Then she's stupid. How are you going to be in a haunted house and forget there's a room that you were told not to go into?
Then, that night, she is awakened by a tapping noise. She gets up and follows the sound, which leads her straight to the door she has been told not to open.
Like I said, stupid. What she should have done
Is grab her shoes and go home. With her hand on the doorknob, she is about to turn it when the tapping stops. She goes back to bed.
She goes back to bed.
A couple of times during the next day, she walks past the door and merely stares at it. She wants to go inside but remembers her promise to stay out. That night, she is awakened again by the tapping. Standing with her hand on the doorknob while she listens to the tapping coming from the other side, she finally decides to turn the knob and go inside. What is wrong with this girl? But when she turns the knob, she discovers that the door is locked. The next day, while she's cleaning, she stumbles across a strange key. And so on. Now, nothing much has happened to actually scare anyone. If you think about it, she's merely heard a tapping noise and headed to the door of a room. But with the right setting and initial setup, each time the girl makes her way towards that door, your reader is on the edge of their seat, anticipating the worst and eagerly turning the pages of your novel to find out what will happen next. And what will happen next is completely in your hands. You have your reader hooked and receptive to anything you put in front of them. It's not much, and it doesn't need to be much. It just needs to be a little more than you gave them prior. As a matter of fact, giving your reader too much at one time can only serve to spoil that captivating progression that you have been developing. As with every story that you will ever write, the most important aspect of it is your main character, and horror is definitely no different. If you haven't already guessed, the girl in the house is your main character. Actually, in this story, she seems to be the only character. And believe it or not, the fewer the characters in a horror story, the better the story is.
If I was one of those characters, you'd have one less because
I'd be gone.
Remember, a good main character is one that your reader can relate to and empathize with. They also need to be someone that your reader can root for. A horror story, when you break it down to its basic foundation, it's a very simple story, and adding a slew of characters will only take away from the magic only a horror story can deliver. Now, this girl just being alone in an old house with the potential for danger lurking behind a door isn't enough to make her relatable or someone your reader will want to root for. You, as the writer, have to make her relatable and someone to root for. And this is generally done by making your main character as close to being human as possible.
the human thing would be to run like hell.
And something that every human being has in common are flaws. Let's say that she is part of a prank where she is being set up as a guinea pig. A group of people who despise her know that her curiosity will eventually cause her to open that door, and after whatever is inside attacks her, the group of people will finally know what is in the room they have been too afraid to go into themselves. Now, your reader can not only empathize with her, but they can also sympathize with her. And because she has so much against her, they will root for her to win. In the third and final segment of writing a horror novel, I will talk about how to choose the right setting for the kind of horror you want to write. Thanks for watching. And if you found anything that I said beneficial to you in any way, hit that subscribe button because you never know. My next video might just be helpful too.